So Keir Starmer has no doubt Rwanda flights will get off the ground, but Labour would cancel the scheme straight away. We're going to read into this more from Sky News, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from Sky News with the headline of Sir Keir Starmer has no doubt that Rwanda flights will get off the ground, but Labour would cancel the scheme straight away. The Labour leader has laid out his party's plans for tackling illegal immigration, including scrapping the Rwanda scheme and introducing a new border security command. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share it across social media so others are notified of this video. Border Security Command. Sounds very fancy, doesn't it? Sounds very, very fancy, doesn't it? You know, words like that are what appeals to people who really don't go into the fine details and of whatnot, of what exactly Labour are introducing here. Now, I obviously said before about how Labour are not going to continue on with the Rwanda plan. And again, Sir Keir Starmer has reiterated it. That he would cancel the scheme straight away, and rightfully so, because it is a waste of taxpayer money, it's a waste of time, it's not going to solve the immigration crisis. And we're going to read a little bit into what he said in his speech on this as well, about how they're going to tackle immigration and how much they're going to give away. And I don't think they're going to give too much away either. But obviously, the sound of a border security command sounds very, 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 very something that would definitely get the appeal of certain right-wing people. Some kind of border security command. That sounds really fancy, doesn't it? So, when it comes to controlling immigration. But many people have just said, well, they're not going to do anything about it. Labour aren't going to do anything about the uncontrolled migration. I'm still going to vote for reform either way. Well, we've had Conservatives for the last 14 years, and we're going to have Labour either way. But I can also understand people not wanting to vote Labour because they don't trust Keir Starmer. I mean, I'm very sceptical of Keir Starmer and Labour, and I've said this on numerous occasions. I don't blame you for thinking that way at all. I really don't. But the thing is like, we don't know what Keir Starmer's going to be like in power. We can speculate what he's been saying, things that his actions have been taking, what people in his party have been saying and doing. When they come into power, that's when we will know for sure what they actually do. And they will be feeling the pressure, of course, when they come into power. That is for sure. But I am glad, out of all this, they are going to scrap the Rwanda scheme. But he's confident the flights will get off the ground. I'm still holding my breath thinking that it won't. I'm still holding on. I know people are going to say, yeah, it's going to happen. I know, obviously, the last one didn't technically count. The first flight person kind of thing didn't technically count because it was more of a volunteer one. But the ones who are being forced, I think, is the real question. But I'm still holding my breath on it, but we'll wait and see. Let's hear what he had to say anyway, guys. So Keir Starmer said he has no doubt that the government will get flights off the ground to Rwanda, but Labour would cancel the scheme straight away if he wins the next general election. The Labour leader, announcing his party's policy on illegal immigration in Dover, said the government's flagship policy of sending asylum seekers to Rwanda will not work. They will get the flights off the ground, but I don't doubt that, but I also doubt it will not work, he said. When asked by Sky News' political editor Beth Rigby if that means he would stop any deportation flights to Rwanda on day one of the Labour government, he said, "We will scrap the Rwanda scheme. I said that to you when we met last week, the time before, and it means ending the scheme. Absolutely, flights and all." He added, "We will cancel the scheme, and of course that means we won't operate the scheme at all. It's a gimmick. I won't flog a dead horse. We're going to get rid of it, get rid of the policy straight away." Labour later clarified the party would not stop any flights already planned, but would not schedule any further. So what they're basically essentially saying is that if there are flights already going off as Labour come into power, they will essentially allow it to finish beforehand. So yeah, I don't like that. The government's Rwanda scheme aimed at deterring asylum seekers arriving in the UK in boats over the channel has been stalled by legal arguments, but last month became law. However, no flights have yet departed. Still no flights, guys. Still no flights. The scheme means any asylum seekers entering the UK illegally from a safe country such as France could be sent to Rwanda, where their asylum claims would be processed. And they would not be allowed to apply and return to the UK. Oh, they would. Yeah, they would. I'm going mad today, guys. As Sir Keir announced Labour's plans to stop the small boats coming across the UK, Sky News witnessed a border force boat with about 70 migrants, including at least one child, disembark on Dover after being picked up in the Channel. In a speech in Dover alongside the new Labour MP Nadine Eskin, Sir Keir insisted our asylum system must be rebuilt. As part of Labour's plans, he announced a new border security command, funded by scrapping the Rwanda scheme, with hundreds of specialist investigators from NCA, Border Force, CPS, MI5 and Immigration Enforcement. Hopes for a new partnership with Europol and a new intelligence sharing network. So that's hopes. So it's key word there, hopes for a new partnership. There. So it's no guarantee. There's no guarantee. New counter-terrorism powers to allow officers to conduct stop and search at the border, close bank accounts, trace movements, and shut off internet access for people smugglers. This is very hard to do when they're outside, when they're in the EU. That's going to be hard to do outside the EU. More in the EU, yes, but outside it's going to be more difficult. A rules-based asylum system with fast-track reforms, an enforcement unit, and a returns agreement with the EU. Again, the last thing there, returns agreement in the EU. You cannot control that. That's down to the EU. So you're going to have to offer something to the EU in order to get some kind of agreement with them on this. So that's not something that you can control here. Very important. So, political correspondent Dan McAfee asking whether will Labour's new plan woo voters. So, given the impressive GDP figures released this morning, Labour need a counter-narrative to Conservative crowing. And so it was to Dover and migration for Keir Starmer to put some flesh on the bones of what a Labour government would do to tackle the small boat crisis. More money, hundreds of more specialist investigators, and the involvement of counter-terrorism are all part of the plan, funded by the savings from abandoning the Tories Rwanda scheme. It's fascinating that Keir Starmer now feels confident enough, not only talking about illegal migration, not traditionally Labour's territory, but taking on the government head on an issue that he feels is up for grabs. It demonstrates Starmer's strength inside Labour, but also the Conservative perception on weakness on illegal migration. The Rwanda scheme, though, is in principle popular with lots of the public. If Labour is to abandon it with this less, frankly, eye-catching alternative announced today, it leaves one big question: will their plan cut it with voters? Now, I fundamentally disagree with no. I don't. As far as most polls that I have seen, and most people that I've heard from people on the ground being talked about this. Unless you are a Conservative voter, it's about more than half of Conservative voters back the scheme. So not even all Conservative voters back the scheme. And the vast majority of people that have been asked about it don't really care about it because of the money that's put in. And they simply just want migration to be reduced. And they don't see this as a means of actually stopping the boat. It's a deterrent. It doesn't actually physically stop the boats. That's the thing. So to say whether it'll cut with voters is a question. But I mean, some of these policies, you're relying on negotiations with the EU here, and this is the key context of this as well. And you'll need France to get on agreement with some of these as well. So Labour leader said, we will restore serious government to our borders, tackle this problem at its source, and replace the Rwanda's policy permanently. Turning a blind eye to people smuggling was not a progressive or compassionate position, Sir Keir said. He said our asylum system must be rebuilt on our borders and must be secured, and accused the Tories of being driven from a serious party of government onto the rocks of our own delusion with their purpose of gesture politics over immigration. Our rules-based system should align with global rules that protect individual human rights, Sir Keir said. That is in our interest to do so. Sir Keir insisted new Labour MP Mr Eskin's defection from the Tories on Wednesday reflected the mood of the country as Rishi Sunak is clinging on to power. After she asked if she was concerned about the backlash from within the Labour Party to Eskin's defection, he said, "This is a very important and significant crossing of the floor for reasons Nadine sets out. I think anyone reading the words she set out this morning would be persuaded that this is a very significant thing. You've got a Tory party that is losing votes, losing MPs, losing councillors, losing mayors across the country. Having your party lost quite a few councillors as well over the Gaza situation. Oh, you forgot about that, Mr Keir Starmer. Reacting to Sir Keir's announcement, the Home Secretary James cleverly said Labour have no plans to stop the boats. Well, your plan sucks, James. Your plan sucks. Labour have an illegal immigration amnesty. Labour blocked of the deportation of violent sexual offenders, and Labour voted over 130 times against tougher legislation to stop the boats. They will create a haven for criminal gangs, not stop them. They are the opposition party. You have a majority. You can do whatever the hell you want. So, doesn't matter what Labour are doing in opposition. It's about what they do if they do come into power. Even Labour MPs are saying Labour can't be trusted to stop the boats, which shows you that nothing will change. We'll have to wait and see. If people can apply for asylum from outside the UK, then unlimited claims can be made, many of whom have to be accepted under the law. Then even then, many of them decline will get on a small boat anyway. You don't know that. You don't know that. You don't know that, James. You really don't. Some of these ideas I'm reading from Keir Starmer, I'm looking at them again, guys. Like, this Border Security Command sounds cool. It sounds cool. Basically, like a cooperation with a bunch of agencies and border force and immigration enforcements and whatnot, kind of like a control thing. Sounds cool, but whether it will do what is intended to help reduce immigration is a question. We don't know whether it will or not. Time will tell. The partnership with Europol, again, I just feel like, again, you're relying on the EU. So there's a lot of barriers to what Keir Starmer is saying here. There are some barriers here. I don't like that so much. I hope that not too much. I'm hoping that not all the money that's going to be scrapped from the Rwanda policy is going to go towards this. I really hope not. And some of that goes back towards some of the issues that are taking place in the country right now, because there are some really serious issues that need to be dealt with in the country. So whether they will be, how much of that, obviously, we don't know. We don't know the sums. We don't know the numbers. And Keir's not going to give a figure anyway, because he's going to say, well, we don't know what the situation is going to be like, the economy and whatnot, when they come in at when the next general election occurs. And that's another thing as well. We don't know what state of the economy is going to be like. So they can keep playing these guessing games all they want, really. But do I think this policy, these ideas that are coming from Labour, do I think they sound cool up front, but are they actually going to be game-changing for immigration? As of right now, no. I think the biggest thing is, like, if more civil servants are hired to help clear the backlogs, that will really make a massive difference. But we will have to wait and see, won't we? But what do you guys think? What do you guys honestly think about this? What do you make of some of Keir Starmer's ideas? This Border Security Command, the corporations and ideas that he has put in there. Do you think he's going to do anything with regards to immigration? Probably some of you are going to say no. Or would you guys rather stick with the Rwanda policy? Let me know your thoughts and more in the comment section down below. If you found this video informative, please hit the like button. It would be greatly appreciated. Share it across social media so others are notified of this video. And subscribe, because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further, financially support me and the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p. Or join me on Rumble, Patreon or Facebook for exclusive content on them platforms as well. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope to catch you all very, very soon.